Now we'll discuss the international economics, protectionism, currency exchange rate, globalization. Being a CFO nowadays, because if we work in American companies, they're working all over the world. So we should know what are the treaties, what are the tax-free, double tax reliefs with different countries, what is the effect of globalization, how to save your industry from foreign companies. This is all we will discuss. Now he says that there is something called protectionism. Protectionism is a word from protect. So if you have a small industry, if you have a very new business and a very big business or a key player comes in the market, can ruin your industry, right? So suppose China is a big market in terms of industry and you as your country, you have a smaller industry. So you put a textile unit or some other unit and suddenly they came with their goods which are better, more innovative and less costly, right? So of course people will start buying that, who will buy your products, and your industry will close. If our industry will close, means our people will get jobless, quality of living will go down, life will become difficult, people can't afford because they don't have salaries. So that's create a need for any small country to create protectionism mechanism through their policies in order to save their country from such things. There are a lot of ways. One is tariffs. These are import quotas. We say import quota means that if America want to buy 100% textiles for the Americans, so what they can do, 10% will come from this country, 5% from this country. This is a quota system. So this quota also works good. Then every country has a balance of payment, means money coming in, money coming out. Yeah. So try to make it in surplus. If it goes in deficit, means more money is going out and less money is coming in. Embargo is a ban. Sometimes we say don't trade with this country, don't trade. United Nations will say we will not deal with this country. So all countries don't stop trade with them. This is embargo. We do have a trigger price that automatically imposes a tariff barrier against unfairly cheap imports by levying a duty on all imports below a particular reference price. For example, trigger means automatic, like if you see a pistol, there is a trigger, when you hit, it fire. Same way, we make policies this way. When something going wrong, it will trigger and make the price of imported goods higher. Anti-dumping. What is dumping first? Dumping is, suppose you are a big company, you have big money, you want to enter in a new country and there are some competition. So in order to win the competition, you start selling below cost because you can afford, because you are a big company, right? So this is called dumping. Dumping is not allowed as per international law. So every country has anti-dumping rules and regulations. Repatriation is the process of transferring money earned in foreign location back to the domestic locations. Yeah. This is what is exchange controls are also important. Sometimes, for example, if I want to buy something from African country, they don't have much dollar in general. So their central bank will restrict, they can't transfer more than a certain amount out of the country. So they will send it in installments. It may take a big time to reach this money out. So exchange control also play a very. Yeah, then he says that there are some economic effects on tariffs and quotas. He says that workers are shifted from relatively efficient export industry into less efficient protected industries. Real wages decline as price increase, as total world output. Under a tariff, excess paid by customer for an imported good is a government revenue. Under a quota, prices are also increased, but the excess is paid to the exporter in their foreign countries. This is the mechanism. Argument for protectionism. See, there are people, they talk about free trade. They say, what is this protectionism? You will put restriction, we will put restriction. So let's make a free trade. That's why we have free trade organization who make sure that there are agreements. People are, if you have some things you want to control, you can control, but let the trade be free. There could be two extreme situations. One is no rule, one is too much rule, and one is in between, calculated rules. So there are people, they are against protectionism. There are people who are in favor of protectionism, right? But as a conclusion, we can say that protectionisms are good, but to a certain extent. It should not be restrained in the way of a free trade. Yeah, sometimes, if you have international money, global capital flow means the money coming from different sources, from international ways in your country. If you get more capital in your country, then it will be more GDP, more economic flow. If you have less, then it will be a less flow. Sustainability is also a factor. That are you sustainable in terms of your environment, others. Market for foreign currency. Do you have market like which currency, which country you deals with most of the time, dollar, euro, pounds, and if they fluctuate, it affects your trade mechanisms as well. So there is a discussion that exchange rate, what are the different exchange rates, means you might think sometime that why $1 is equal to 3.67 dirhams. So there are some way we fix the rate. One is called fixed exchange rate, means two governments, they sit together, they agree that this will be the rate. That is called fixed exchange rate. One is we called as free floating exchange rate. Free floating means that there is a demand, there is a supply. For example, a lot of people will earn money at the end of the month, they will go to exchange and they want to transfer money to their countries. Now that day, demand for dirhams will go down and demand for other currencies will go up, right? So that's why you should not rush the day you get salary. You have to wait till a lot of people will transfer and then the rate will get little bit better. So floating means free demand and supply, and there is no intervention of the government. As the more demand for dollar will increase more rate for dollar. One is the extension managed float rate. Government of every country, they let the demand and supply to go, but till some extent, if it goes out of the strategy or policy, they intervene into and they manage the rate for certain reasons. Yeah, exchange rate and purchasing power are in relationship because this is go side by side. This is the price of one unit foreign currency in terms of domestic. This is demand, this is supply, here they intersect, this is the equilibrium and the quantity of the foreign currency. This is what he explained. He says when one currency can be exchanged for one more unit of another currency, the first currency appreciates in relation to the second currency. So this is the natural mechanism. Second currency depreciates in relation to the first. There are some factors that can exchange, that can increase, decrease. So he says there are trade related, mean buying, selling. There is inflation, income, government intervention. So these are some factors through trade mechanism. The other is monetary mechanism, that is called financial factors. So if interest rate will change, capital will come in, out. Yeah, this is what he explained, trade related. Then he explained the income levels, government interventions. This is because already we discussed, so this is just like